I think is the fourth module of week 5 of Intro to C++, and we're going to do a quick kind of introduction to your first major assignment in this course. So you can find it in assignments and tests here, um, and you can download what should be just a shell for a CodeLight project in this .zip folder right here. All of the submission instruction can be found here, and the actual submission itself, when you open it, you'll see the due date is Friday, October 15th, 2021. Okay, and it's just 100 points because it's just going to be whatever percent you get. All right, now you can open the major assignment 1.pdf here to get the brief for the assignment, or you can watch this video that will talk a little bit more about it. Now, I just want to remind you guys here on this assignment, when you submit, please submit before the due date. Late submissions are subject to deductions of 20% per day, and there is absolutely no tolerance for plagiarism or copying code from a classmate or online. So if you are caught doing that, you will receive a grade of 0%, no questions asked on this assignment. So please, please do not plagiarize or copy code from the internet or from anywhere online or from a classmate, okay? This assignment is worth 20% of your final grade. So let's open up that brief together and take a look at it, okay? So here we can see, again, just asking that all work is your own, okay? And it's also talking about the late submissions and late penalties. When you submit, please submit your entire project folder zipped to Blackboard under the major assignment 1. And let's talk about what this challenge is. So it's about using a collection or a list of integers and allowing the user to select options from a menu to perform operations on that list. Okay, so we kind of did that today with a menu. Your program should display a menu of options as follows: P, A, M, S, L, and Q. And then print numbers, add a number, display the mean of the numbers, the smallest number, the largest number, and quit. Okay, and then enter your choice or ask the user for their choice on this menu. Okay, the program should only accept valid choices from the user. Both upper and lowercase selections should be allowed. If an illegal choice is made, you should display unknown selection. Please try again. So if I enter the letter B, or if I enter the letter Z, it'll say unknown selection, please try again. And the menu options should be displayed again. Okay, if I enter uppercase P or lowercase p, you should display all of the elements or ints in a list. Okay, if the list is empty, you should display open and close square bracket, the list is empty. If the list is not empty, then all the list elements should be displayed inside square brackets separated by a space. For example, if the elements of that list were 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then it would show like this. By default, your list will probably be empty, okay? Now, if the user enters this second option, uppercase A or lowercase a, then you should prompt the user for an integer to add the list, which you will add to the list and then display that it was added. For example, if the user enters 5, you should display 5 added. So give a confirmation message, right? That's important to give users confirmation message so they know what they did worked. Duplicate list entries are okay. So then if they added 5 to this, it would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, okay? If the user enters M, uppercase or lowercase, you should calculate the mean or the average of the elements in the list and display it. Okay, if the list is empty, then you should still display an error message saying unable to calculate the mean, no data. If the user enters S, uppercase or lowercase, you should display the smallest element in the list. For example, if the list contains 2, 4, 5, and 1, you display the smallest number is 1, right? So you're going to use some comparisons there, some greater than, less than, and then just loop through to find the smallest variable and save it in the variable called smallest number. If the list is empty, you should also display an error message saying the list is empty. If the user enters L, uppercase or lowercase, you now display the largest element in the list. So same thing as here, but you're now going to display the largest number, which would be 5. So you're going to use the greater than symbol, and you're going to store it in another variable called largest number, right? If the user enters Q, uppercase or lowercase, you just display goodbye, and the program should terminate. Before we begin, you might find it helpful to please write out the steps that you need in pseudocode and decide what order everything should be done. Think about the loops you need to use and what you'll use for your logic. This exercise can be challenging and it might take a couple of attempts before you complete it, but that's okay. Also, be sure to test your program as you go and comment what you do, okay? So I can understand what you were trying to do in case your code doesn't actually execute. A big hint here, use a vector, okay? We have a changing list that a user can add elements to. So using that pushback method right here, using this add and adding the element to the end of the list. So a vector allows us to do that, okay? Don't use an array. Additional functionality, if you wish to extend this program, you can add a search functionality. You can clear out a list, making it empty again. So the vector class has a .clear method. Don't allow duplicate entries or come up with another idea to make it kind of fun. So good luck. So yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to show you a quick demo of what it might look like when you run it on your machine here. So I've got it here running on mine. So this is the menu that you might see, PAMSLQ, and asking the user for their choice. So let's say I want to print the numbers. I can do a lowercase p, and it should say the list is empty, right? So it prints those square brackets. Now if I add a number and I add the number 1, then it says a success message of 1 added, okay? Now if I try to print, it now shows me that my list has a value in it. If I add another number and I add 2 and then I reprint my list, we can see my list now has 1 and 2. Okay, now if I want to display the mean of my numbers, I would type M, and the mean is 1.5. So that's being stored in a double, right? Because it's not just an int. So it's actually taking that and it's dividing it by the vector.size. So it's taking 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 divided by the size of the vector, which has 2 elements. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. Okay, S, displaying the smallest number. The smallest number is 1. So it's just going to check and loop through the entire vector and say, starting at 0 and going to the very end of the vector, if the current value that I'm at is smaller than the next value, save it into this variable. And then you loop through again and say the next variable is even smaller, it's now going to replace it with the next smallest number in the new variable. If I do L, it should print the largest number. So same thing, just using the opposite symbol. So just using the larger or greater than symbol. And then if I do Q, uppercase or lowercase, it quits. All right. Now, if I rerun this program and I typed in like Z or another letter that wasn't there, it would give me an error. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. You can always email me, and it's due in a couple weeks, I believe, on the 15th. So that's due in just under 2 weeks. All right. I'm going to end the recording here, but if you guys have questions, I am more than happy to answer.